For episode 56, Bermcannon Mark drops by to talk about KTM's brand new at the time 390 Adventure, which we've had for a little while. We'd been riding it. We were held under the strictest of embargoes to be able to talk about it. And we let you know everything that we found out about that bike and answer your questions as usual. On this show, we always talk about Recluse clutches, and we're going to be putting one in our KTM 390, believe it or not. But if you want to know what a Recluse is, you can listen to different episodes of Tech Talk Taco Tuesday where we talk about things like setting them up, what they do, how they make you a better rider, how, well, people that think that they don't make you a better rider probably haven't used them. And they're definitely polar. There's good and bad points to almost anything. Like we always say, nothing's free. But we can tell you how to set it up, how to tune it for yourself. And if you want to get all the inside information, you can always go to recluse.com. That's www.rekluse.com and learn more. And thanks to them for helping getting these podcasts uploaded. And now here's the show. So it's 7:07. We are live in Pahrump, Nevada. Valley of the Dirt People, home of Dirt Bike Test. Well, it's our second home, actually. We started in California, but we ran away. And now we are out here riding dirt bikes, talking about dirt bikes and adventure bikes, actually. Tonight I have a special guest. I have Mark, and I'm gonna say your name, your last name, the best that I can, and then you can criticize me. Kakapoloff.
One more time.
I should look at the spelling and then I can make it even worse. Kakapoloff.
One more time. It's pronounced Kalpakoff.
Kalpakoff.
I'm known as Bermcannon. Bermcannon Adventure.
So you have a second identity.
Yeah, because I want to try to hide from people.
Really?
Yeah.
What did you do? Now that you're live on the Instagram.
Well, I'm just shy, and I just don't want people to know, my real name.
Okay.
So that way, when I get in trouble with the government, I can hide. And
so you're just going to go as an alias. You have an alias thing going. So
I've been looking here in Pahrump, and I've found some really good hide spots. So escape California.
So Mark is Bermcannon. Mark is Baja Diaries. I've known Mark for a long time because we cross each other's paths in this moto industry that we're involved in. So he has been helping us out testing a lot of our bikes. He helped out with the CRF 250L Rally. I just plopped him onto the KTM 390, and he took a little ride. He took an adventure, and the rain turned his adventure around. So he came back quicker. And I told Logan, he's in the dunce seat right now, we'll call it, because I texted Logan and I said, Logan, bring your helmet and stuff so you can hop on that thing, and then we would have more to talk about. Now, you'd think I'd be picking on Logan right now, but I should just tell you how dumb I am for actually thinking that would work, because I said Logan would talk, which is kind of strange. I feel bad because I thought that would be a really good thing, and then I'm like, wait, Logan doesn't talk. In fact, I texted him, and now I realized I thought he was a texty person. He just doesn't talk, but he doesn't even respond to texts most of the time. So
I want Logan to take that 390 and go do donuts on his school front lawn.
No,
that's the real test.
No. That's bad information. Just erase that from your head. I know we would have probably done that, and it's probably one of those things that could have sculpted our lives for better or for worse. Depends on how it played out, but that's not a good idea. I'm just telling you, I don't think it's a good idea. Well, I wanted you to ride it out to the play area and just go putt it around, just to see what you would think, and then you could add some extra things into it. So let's get to the business part of it. Hold up that sprocket right there. Yeah, this one here is easier to grab. You can hold it up, and you can probably do some effects over there with your Instagram followers because they like funny.
This looks like a lot of bling going on here.
That's not bling. That's performance, my friend. That is a DDC sprocket. So ddcracing.net. If you need a good, long-lasting Swiss cheese-like sprocket, we say Swiss cheese because it's made out of stainless steel. These things last I would like to say literally forever, but I'm sure if you live in the right kind of environment, you can make them not last forever. But they last forever for me out here in Pahrump or wherever I ride, and I ride all over the place. He makes sprockets for all different kinds of bikes. I have him on all of my most of my bikes, the ones that I need sprockets on them, and they're on my KTM 1090s and my 950s and on my 500s and 350s and 250s and 450s and 200s and everything. So good sprockets. DDC helps us out here. Of course, Climb Gear has been with me for a long, long time, almost as long as they've been making dirt bike gear. So they've been with dirt bike tests. So if you need some really good, high quality, long lasting, cool looking, super functional gear, you were wearing Climb today, weren't you, Mark?
I was wearing A-Stars.
Oh, you had a piece of Climb with something on you, didn't you?
No, I do not have any Climb gear. No.
Oh, that's why you had to turn around when the rain came.
Yeah.
Right.
Hold on. I did have my Bermcannon Adventure windbreaker that's on my store right now.
Yeah,
so it did go through the test pretty good. Not as good as Climb.
No, Climb's good. I mean, I thought I saw some Climb stuff. If you Climb, you would have just rode right into that rain and never looked back. I should have given you the Power Cross pullover that I have laying over there.
Ooh.
Yeah, that thing is awesome for that. So, Climb helps us out. DDC helps us out. Kate Spars helps us out every once in a while. I think my allotment of Kate Spars got cut. I'm going to have to talk to them about that because I actually don't eat all the Kate Spars that are given to me. I pass them out and hand them out. So you should take that and put it in your pocket because when you get hungry, that is the best thing you can eat on the trail. You had a Kate Spar?
Kate's Real Food.
Kate's Real Food. Yeah, it's real food.
Wait, this bar is called the Handlebar?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, she's a dirt biker. Kate's a dirt bike
Really?
chick. Yeah, she's gnarly. I mean, it shows a picture of a mountain bike, but she's a dirt biker.
Well, it's a BMX bike, but we'll take it.
She raced National Hare and Hounds a little bit, and she actually attempted King of the Motos.
What's her last name?
Kate Schlade. I think that's how you pronounce it. Like, you're asking me a name, and I'm bad at names. So, you know the rules of being the co-host. Logan, can you tell them the rules of being the co-host? What happens now?
You start talking.
Yeah, you start talking.
Okay. So the 390, I'm gonna need at least more days on it. But
you're getting more days on it.
One thing right off the bat was I instantly noticed that it was cutting out on G-outs, not because of the bike,
Well, you came back and it was funny because
I didn't listen to Jimmy.
You didn't. Your attention span is typical of most, YouTubers.
Motorcyclists. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, motorcyclists, whatever. If you would have listened to it, I did discuss that in my detailed review. But go ahead.
Well, I noticed that when I was riding down the semi-Jeep trail with about maybe baseball-sized rocks. I hit a couple G-outs, and the bike would go.
Was it? It wasn't that long, was it? Wasn't it just a quick touch the kill button?
A quick one.
Okay, so you exaggerated. For
exaggerated. I do that. It did cut out, and I was thinking, I'm like, I heard Jimmy talk about this in his video, but whatever. And I just kept riding it, and then it would do it again, and then after the second time, I realized I was standing up. And my foot was hitting the shifter. So basically, our bike has, and we have a question about this. Our bike has an accessory installed through the computer system. It's quick shift, and essentially, if you would have just taken the bike and just at any time decided you wanted to shift, it will give you a little rev cut, which you felt allows the bike to do really seamless upshifts or downshifts. Believe it or not. And you can be an idiot with the throttle. You don't have to touch the clutch, and it'll just magically just take it out of one gear. You move your foot and into the next. So you still have to physically kind of do the shift. So it's funny how an add-on performance feature caused an issue for you. Yeah. Well, again, it was only a couple hours, so I need more time.
And it was funny because when he took off, I went and because I let Janie ride the bike the other day, and she's mostly a street rider. I have a little segment about you tonight. Why not? We're talking about Janie, so let's go. So Janie is a Harley rider, and she's very proud of the Harley, and that's her favorite bike, and she rode it here. All the way through the gravel from my front gate to this back house, which is gnarly on a Harley, right? So,
But I did not.
yeah.
I didn't
So
put my feet down.
she didn't put her feet down. So, but anyways,
Come out twice.
I've been trying to convert Janie into a dirt biker for a long time now. It's just not working because she's a Harley rider. She likes the pavement. She's totally content and happy doing that. And I have to realize it's like, okay, but I said, hey, try this KTM 390 because you think about it. She's kind of target audience for this. It's like, hey, maybe, and this is not Janie. You have not grown tired of riding your Harley.
No.
Not at all.
No.
But it's like you start looking at all those gravel and dirt roads that you would never take that bike down willingly. Yeah. So you're one of those people that's like starting to look at this thing as like, hey, maybe that's something I might be into. So I said, hey, hop on this thing and take it for a spin and go put some miles on it and tell me what you think. And she came back and gave me some really good information. It's a little small and cramped for her. The seating position and stuff coming from a Harley rider is awkward. It's, for a long ride, it's not as comfortable as what she's used to. It doesn't have a big padded seat. It's not a big lumbering bike that just almost goes straight down the road all by itself. It's a nimble, light handling little squirrely little motorcycle, right?
It turns really nicely.
It turns really nice.
You can use your feet for steering.
Yep,
or
feet
your
for steering. Yeah,
hands,
yeah. So she,
which is different on a dirt bike.
yeah,
street bike.
yeah. So she was a perfect candidate to go out and putt it around and test it. That's
It
how.
was victim, but
That's what was that?
the word was victim.
Victim. Oh, you were a victim for taking. No, it wasn't a punishment. It was a reward.
It was fun.
Yeah,
I had
yeah.
a good time.
So she had a good time on it, and that kind of helped. It helps give us opinions because we're trying to we're not just like, hey, we're just a bunch of expert guys that are going to ride around for 10 minutes each and go, that's for kids or old women or grandma or something else. It's like it's amazing how many views that bike has gotten in India, where that's a high level performance bike. That's that's where it's built, by the way, but. That's a bike that these guys are aspiring to ride because it's not a 50cc two-stroke scooter.
Well, I mean, just to touch on that, that's the first thing that hit me was that bike is probably really perfect for teenage women. I say women, but girls, women of small stature.
Small people.
Because you could put
Short
your
legs,
feet on the
yeah.
ground. Yeah, no, I mean, it gives them something to go with their hubbies or their boyfriends on riding, whatever BMW 850 or whatever, if they're going to go on a fire road or not. But yeah.
Well, I will say, if you're going to try to put your feet down, that seat is still a little bit high.
Coming from a Harley that has like a 24-inch seat height or
Yeah.
But
something
that
real
one I can
real.
comfortably put my feet down
Yeah.
and maneuver.
Yeah, so it and that is I mentioned that in the video. We talked about it. That is one of the major sales points of that bike, of a bike in that category, because because I teach motorcycle riding, I teach don't put both feet on the ground. People still want to put both their feet on the ground. That's how they say they feel safe because that's how you walk around all day. So. Lots of questions and comments on that. Logan, where did that sheet of paper go, by the way? You got them all memorized? Mark has it, or
They're all on that clipboard.
it's all on that clipboard? That clipboard there. Good. I have a couple other questions that are not 390 related. I'm going to get into those right off
Can
the
I
top.
hit you with a question for the 390?
Absolutely.
So, I was on my way back. I had an hour of fire road. So I was thinking to myself, the 390 has like, how much, do you know off the top of your head how much travel it actually has?
It's in the 6.5 inches, 7 inches range.
Because it feels like it has like 3 inches.
Oh, really?
And it just seems like it would blow out of that. So my question is, what makes a manufacturer, or I guess it would be your opinion, but what makes a manufacturer decide on travel when they do a adventure bike? Because I feel that more travel is good and can't hurt, say, the street guy that would use it more for street. I just feel like more travel would just benefit all parties.
No,
Why did they put?
No, so probably There's probably in this bike. I think if I were to waver an educated guess, there's two very important things with it: the price tag and the seat height. And you know, in the kind of the things that are always going to come into play: price tag and seat height when you're selling that bike. So there's all the styling and all the other stuff, and the marketing behind what it is and how it's done. But price, seat tag, the suspension height. Anytime you go up in suspension height, what else goes up? Seat height, and the higher seat height is a bad thing. Janie, we didn't even prompt her, and what'd she bring up? Seat height. Yeah. And it's just because she's very comfortable. She wants to put both feet down.
I didn't see that.
So and then when you start talking about street performance, when you start raising the bike up, i.e. suspension travel, it's a longer pendulum. When you start, that's why they try to get street bikes as low as possible, because when you go through those turns and you're doing these big changes, you have enough traction to do crazy changes of direction. And when you swing from turning one direction to the other, you think about the higher you put that weight up, the more of a pendulum it becomes, and it doesn't handle as good. That's why they try to get cars and stuff like that. Everything they want, when you have good traction, you want to get it really low to the ground so it sticks. And so higher suspension has that, and then it also has the tendency, taller suspension has the tendency to be a little bit wallowy, because the more suspension travel you're gonna, that initial part of the stroke can be, and even a lower one, it can be a little bit wallowy. But typically when they get up higher, then you have more travel, and the bike will do bigger dynamic changes. When you load the front end, or when you go through a bump and it pivots, and that bike is, by nature, it's set up a lot softer than what we would consider for you mentioned that the suspension feeling like it only had 3 inches of travel, and you're a much more aggressive rider, and you're used to riding things with 12 inches of travel. So yeah, it feels like half. And when you go through a bump, if there was 12 inches of suspension sprung like that, it would feel like a pogo stick.
So, but my real question would be, when they're designing a quote unquote adventure bike, what do you think the engineers are thinking? Are they just looking at fire roads where they're like, okay, 6 inches of travel will be okay? Or are they going, okay, adventure bikes should have at least, because I think the 250L Rally had at least almost 8 inches. Mm-hmm. And I felt that bike, you were at least able to kind of go down, you can go faster on a fire road than, say, this 390 where it kind of was.
Really, you think so?
I mean, comfortably.
Okay, interesting. Yeah.
So I just, what do you think the engineers look at when the company comes to the engineers and go, we want to make this an adventure bike? Do you think the engineers take in consideration travel
I think,
and what this bike's going to be used for?
Yeah. Oh yeah. They hopefully they know their audience, and I think every brand kind of has a different philosophy. I mean, you mentioned we're going to talk about the Ducati Desert Sled.
Desert Sled.
And when you go, okay, in the adventure market, in reality, kind of I would say BMW sort of started it. Well, they didn't really start it because it wasn't even a thing. It wasn't a thing called adventure. It was just guys that were going to take these GSs and go ride around the world or whatever it was. It turned into adventure riding. And they've been in there the longest, and sort of the GS was kind of the standard, and it was this they want to call it like the Swiss Army knife of motorcycles. And then, when KTM came, they came from the racing side. Like their adventure bikes were kind of modeled after, the BMW GS got used at Dakar. KTM developed a bike to be able to go to Dakar. Back then those bikes were allowed. So there was this adventure bike that we're going to race it. And there's this adventure bike, hey, I'm only going to ride around the world. And then that stuff started getting popular. Yamaha has always had this Tenere platform. Mm-hmm. Honda has always had this Africa Twin platform that have been, used in, they were street bikes that were modeled after their Dakar racers that, had the look of the Dakar bike, but built to work on the street. And that was just the way that the Japanese interpreted, hey, we'll go race this thing, and then we'll make something that looks like it. That's a really good, At that time, it would be more of a sport touring bike. I don't know why Dirt Bike Test is talking about this and breaking this down, but I worked for 12 years at Cycle World magazine, and I kind of saw the evolution of a lot of these bikes and was able to ride a lot of the bikes. But now you're getting into where, like, what is it? What is an adventure rider? And I don't have access to that marketing data to say the guys that are buying the KTM, let's say the 790. Are the guys that are buying KTM 790 riding at 30% off road or 60% off road?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guarantee you when they check the box on the form, they all think they're riding 90% off road and 10 on road. But in reality, they're probably more closer to 50-50. They're and maybe 30% off road. So when they start finding this data out, they're like, hey, we need to make the bike for the guy that's actually buying our, regardless of what the media says and who you think you are, you still want it to make it work for everybody. And a lot of times, the media, they're like, oh yeah, we're, you're around.
You're going to jump down this wormhole.
No, I'm not. I'm going to stay. I'm going to try to take higher ground on this, But it's like, hey, look at us. We're jumping this adventure bike. Oh yeah, and it's like
it drives me nuts. Jumping refrigerators to get clicks.
It's like, yeah, I can do all that stuff, and I don't. I know I could go on a click fest if I wanted to, But I've been out with photographers that used me for. I got insta raped. Did I tell you about my insta raping story?
No.
Yeah. So, well, anyways, it's a long story. I probably am not supposed to say it out loud, but like, it was funny because I was doing stuff that they were amazed what I was able to do on the motorcycle, and they're like, oh, and like they wanted to do it too, and I'm like, and it was like, okay, it's simple. It's like you take a motorcycle and go the same place and do the exact same thing. And it was funny, the difference in like the end result. Like they probably went what they thought was the same speed and they went off the exact same line, the exact same jump. But when I landed, it was nice and smooth and like this. And when they landed, it was crunch. And is that this computer? Yes. Holy crap.
It's going to blow.
Yeah. Well, can we hear that? Hopefully the sound is knocked out. Give me that pizza box. I'm going to put something up to block that noise. But anyways, so they would do this thing and nearly crash. And I literally had to stop these guys and say, hey, look, it's what is that thing? Have a turbo in it or something? I don't know what's wrong. Hopefully that sound isn't too bad. I hate bad sound. Like everybody says, audio is the key to all this stuff. And actually, Charles H. Where's Charles H? Is he there, ready to bitch at us again from last week? But anyways,
they can't hear anything.
Good. These guys would do these big old, not big old jumps, but they were big jumps and clank and stuff like that. And it's like, wait. Don't do that. And they're like, what? Like, oh no. If you don't know, you don't even know. You don't even know that's bad for the motorcycle. You're going to bend, break, crush. It was never, ever designed to do that. Sure, you see it in the damn brochures. I wonder which asshole.
You could push a refrigerator off the back of a moving truck or a delivery truck.
I wonder which guy did the brochure photos that showed the bike doing it, or which pro Dakar rider they had in the thing. Wait, no. Oh yeah, I was that guy. Yeah, it's. But in reality, that's not what you're really doing with bikes like this. They make bikes that are designed to doing that. That's why the EXC is on the KTM world. That's why the EXC is based off of the motocross bike, the supercross bike. It's why it has that level of capability. And this adventure bike is coming from a different side. It's designed. It's actually based off of a street bike. A really light, nimble, agile, Duke 390, and then they said, hey, we can take this, and within cost concerns, we can make it into an adventure bike, and that's sort of what you have, and it's like I say, it's affordable. The performance kind of meets the criteria. I was frankly blown away by what they were able to put on it as far as componentry and stuff. That computer is actually pretty neat, and they've done a really good job tuning it for the intended audience. It's it's not a 350 XC. We went and rode. So when we went and did one of the photo shoots, me and my wife, we rode out of here on the 390 and a KTM 350. And for 90% of that ride, that 390 was a better bike because we were cruising down roads, rode across a dry lake bed, on nice 2 tracks and stuff. And at that stuff, that's what it's designed to do. When you start hitting bumps, those little square edge things and stuff that the 350 laughs at, and you feel the 390 using the suspension, it's a different thing. The 350, you accelerate through it. On that bike, you should slow down.
Yeah.
So, yeah, enough. Did I answer the question? What was the original question? Everybody wants to hear the Insta rape story.
Yeah.
Hey, I got 500 followers. Do we lose 150 followers over there for that?
No, I got 2 questions over there.
Oh, you do?
Whenever you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay, read
one off.
Let's see here. Fire Freddy wants to know
when he can ride the 390. He's a big boy, right?
He's a big boy. He wants to know, is it worth it to get the 790 Rally or the regular 790 off-road bike?
If you're going to go adventure riding, just get the regular one. So he's talking about the R or the standard?
Yeah, the 790 R or the 790 Rally.
No. So they make a 790 Rally, and it comes with a price tag. I mean, it's got good forks and different suspension. It's got the WP kit suspension on it and bling. It's like a factory edition of a KTM.
Well, he's a firefighter, so he'd probably want to go with that route.
Yeah, if you want to show up with the coolest bike to the party, go for it. But in reality, what do you need? Standard, just the R. It's fine.
Okay, and then we got Troy 66. Would you consider changing tires when testing to meet the demands of the area that you ride, or are you testing for all around what the manufacturer gives you? Okay,
so we are, let's see, the name, Dirt Bike Test. So I kind of make a joke about this all the time. So whenever we get a bike, whether it's an adventure bike or a dual sport bike, we always test it stock, the way it's delivered. They're generally perfect stockers, and I've explained that before, but they're stock, they're standard. If the tires we feel are cutting into the ability of the bike to perform off-road, we will change or upgrade the tires to a more knobby-like tire, like we did with the 390, like we do with KTM EXCs, but we always ride them with stock tires just so we know. And if the tires are more of a street-biased tire, the bike is expected to go on the street, we'll ride it on the street a little bit. But we want to know how it works on dirt. So our focus is a little bit more for that type of rider. And in reality, especially when you talk about the street, because of laws and regulations, you're really limited on how much you can push a bike on the street, like a dual sport bike or a adventure bike. I can break the law on almost any displacement level bike, like that KTM 390. It's no problem to go break the law all day long by going too fast on the street, whether you have the stock tires or we put the Kenda big blocks on it. Sure, we're going to lose some of that performance when you're really carving a turn, by putting a more knobby like tire on that. But I sure as heck wouldn't want to ride it in the sand or in sloppy mud or whatever with that tire. If we were testing it like we do at Dirt Bike Test. So
okay,
So
real quick, Jimmy, I'm going to switch over to Dirt Bike Test Instagram, and we're going to go live on there. So if you guys want to continue watching, you can go to Dirt Bike Test Facebook or Dirt Bike Test Instagram. All right. See you guys.
So we're doing a little multitasking here, trying to expand the audience because we're talking about something that we usually don't talk too heavy on the adventure. We're a little more dirt bike, but I tell you what, when you guys all get old, kind of like Logan, you're going to start thinking about, how old are you now, Logan? 14. Yeah, when you get to about 15, you start thinking about adventure bikes. Like, I'm just BSing. I think what age do you start adventure biking? When Mark? Bermcannon, I mean.
Yeah, I probably, it was dual sport really. That's where I'm at right now.
That's like taking your first smoky with your boyfriend. yeah. Whoops. It comes along, but don't worry, you'll all end up riding adventure bikes at some point or another. I promise you. It's a bad habit, or if you like riding it, I'm going to work on some of the questions that I was going to get to originally. A friend of mine, Bob, not San Felipe Bob. Is San Felipe Bob out there? We haven't seen him. He's watching. Another Bob says, Jimmy, in the past you've recommending using narrower rims on some bikes to enhance performance. So here's a dissimilar question. Good lead in. Nobody really talks about off-spec chain mechanics and link dimensions. So what's your thoughts to get the best torque and speed leverage from a high-performance engine to a wheel using a chain drive? Do you make any adjustments from the recommended specs with your bikes?
What?
Are you a tension junkie, and do you check the chain before every ride, or you only make adjustments when you feel the chain slapping? How much attention should riders be on a chain and drive sprockets? After all, unfortunately, most riders don't have a pit crew handling all this attention to detail. Well, I was just going to say, if you run DDC sprockets at ddcracing.net, you have one less thing to think about as far as sprockets, because your sprocket is not going to fail. But back to the main question, man, I don't change the quote specs of my chain. In other words, we used to do it a little bit on mini bikes when we were racing, that like some XR 100s or something, TTR 125s came with a 428 chain, and we might have switched it to a 420 chain, but that's craziness. There's some other things where there's a lot of chitter chatter back and forth. Like, does an O-ring chain rob power? Not when it's warmed up. I usually like to ride my bike when it's warmed up. So I've always run O-ring chains on my off-road bikes. I've always run standard chains on my motocross bikes. But as far as adjustments, I adjust it pretty much how the manufacturer recommends, as long as I'm running standard gearing. Now, if I start changing the diameters of my sprockets, I pay a little bit of attention to that, because I never want it to be too tight. And when I say too tight, this is also pretty important. You have to think about if you're riding in mud and in deep sand and stuff, where the chain can start packing up with, so you can actually get a lot of sand in between your chain, and it can drag it around, and it can actually tighten the chain up. And then when you're compressing through the suspension, it can put a lot of load on that output shaft sprocket. So, or on the wheel bearings as well, or on the hub. And I've seen failures in all different kinds of those things when people ran their chains too tight. So, too tight is definitely worse than too loose. And but there's the amount of time I've ridden, the amount of factory mechanics I've had to tend to me has been pretty minimal, and I've had very few chain failures over those years. So, a couple other chain tricks while we're at it. Lube your chain when it's warm. So when you lube your chain at the end of your ride, when you're done riding, that's the best time to lube your chain. You can watch all kinds of videos and things on the internet about different kinds of chain oils and coatings, and whether you're supposed to use WD-40 and
what's up with
beeswax.
What's up with the guys who raced in the 80s lubing their chain every moto? Was that something that was just instilled in those guys' heads, or I'd see guys spinning their tire in the parking lot after?
Because back in the 80s, everything else was going to break, so you just wanted to, snap chains back then were kind of a thing, and I imagine if you didn't lube your chain, you'd felt that maybe that could have an effect on it. I think it was probably more habit than actually doing something, but now the materials are so good. But lube your chain when it's warm with whatever you decide to use. If I had an oil sponsor, I would tell you that their chain lube was the best. I would say that probably, but I would have to actually feel that their chain lube was the best, and in order to say that. And I use a lot of different chain lubes, and I use a lot of times I use more of a water displacing stuff. There's certain times when, you know, I look on the shelf of the different stuff I have. I grab one that's more of a wax, and then there's one that's more of an oil. And I can't tell you exactly why I pick one over the other, but I do. I say, I have the choice to use this one. I'm going to put this on it. And, you know, some of them make more of a mess than other ones.
The plane's landing. I could hear it.
Yeah, we need to talk to my tech guy about this. Another important thing out here we just kind of come to learn about Pahrump in general is, so Gabe's not here tonight, and everybody's like wondering why. And so it's usually what happens is I gave him a check, and, you know, I paid him, and I give him a check, and he just vaporizes. Like, I mean, that's like a certain amount of gas for his vehicle, and he just drives away. So, but I haven't given him a check, and he just disappeared. So, Logan, you know what happened? Aliens. Yeah.
Aliens got Gabe?
Aliens, yeah. I'm pretty sure he's abducted because it's just vaporized. Gone.
I hope they don't do the anal probe.
Yeah, well, no. Yeah, it's Gabe's. So, yeah, if you're wondering where Gabe is, that's why we can't take calls. That's why I was late starting. That's probably why the fan, you know, because everybody thinks like aliens are these things that are maybe sized like us and stuff. I think they're little teeny tiny dudes, and they're hanging out in there, and then they're, you know, because he works on the computer sometimes. So, Bob, hopefully that helps.
What about WD-40 to clean and gear oil or oil the gear? Is there any problem with that? WD-40?
I've used WD-40 before. I haven't really had any issues with that. It's more of a, you know, WD-40 water displacement. And so it's good. And the reason a lot of times we wash our bikes when they're hot is because then the lube can, you know, it's warm, it can migrate around, but WD-40 migrates around pretty easily. And then when you do wash it, it keeps the water out. It doesn't have to go kind of like chase it. Or it doesn't seal it in. Like, the worst thing to do is wash your bike, then lube your chain, especially with something like a wax, because then you've got water in the rollers and stuff like that, and then you put this nice wax seal on it that holds that water in there, and it can go in there and do bad stuff. So, or you can just ride a BMW, and they have this shaft drive system.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, then you don't have to worry about chains at all, right? That's what I did in Dakar, my friends. Okay. Hey, our friend Bob, who had the Husky 300, the TE 300, he was having the problems with. No news. He says basically his dealership took it apart, and there was cylinder and piston damage, so they have ordered a new piston and cylinder, and that's where they're at. He said his ECU was current, and there were no codes or anything thrown in the map, so we'll keep following that particular story. He says hopefully I'll have more information later this week. That's Mike, our friend Mike with the Husky. So if you're anxiously awaiting, because there's probably, I don't know, I'm just going to guess, out of our 49 people in this chat room I'm looking at here, there's probably 3 that have Huskies that are waiting for me to say something bad so that they can tear theirs apart to find out, or at least hope that we show a picture. We show a picture of Bob's bike, because it'd be like me to grab that picture and go, look, every Husky does this, and then everybody takes it, and then every single one is blowing up magically, because that's the way the internet works with the bike problems. Let's see. And I think we're going to take a deep dive in KTM 390 questions, unless you had a good question about one of your other buddies asked us about like some countershaft seals or something like that. Or?
Yeah, he asked. We're live on that, so I can't pull it up.
Oh, you can't pull it up.
I think he was talking about.
Was it output shaft seal, or was it?
Yeah, he's getting oil on the stator.
On a bike that has.
This is a 650R.
Okay, that's bad. Yeah.
He wants to know, will he have to split the cases? I think that was a question to get at.
There. Boy, that's a Honda thing. So that's a Johnny Campbell question. Yeah. I don't know if you can pull the flywheel and the stator off, and then pop the seal out from the outside. I don't remember on that bike which side it's captured from. But yeah, if you're getting oil leaking out of the crankcase into a dry stator, that's a problem. whether it's 2-stroke or 4-stroke. 2-stroke is a bigger problem because it becomes an air leak, and then you lean yourself out and generally have a problem. But on the other one, now it's kind of pumping a little bit of oil out, and if it's a lot, that's a really big problem. If it's only a little, if it's only weeping, I wouldn't worry about it too much just yet, especially on an XR. Like, you're going to see you would pump a lot of oil out of that motor before you're going to be low enough to cause a problem, and that side cover would kind of fill up. But hopefully that answers that question. Any other ones?
Nothing here on your. Oh yeah, well, maybe here we go.
Yeah, silence is the best.
Nothing.
It's almost like Logan was hosting the show.
All your followers on Instagram, they know everything already.
They already know everything. It's like I'm like a broken record. But hey, that's why new people could tune in, and if you feel like you're learning something, this is the 56th show that we've done, and so there's 55 more of these. Well, there's 54 because Gabe disappeared, and of course the aliens didn't help him edit it and put it up on SoundCloud, so it's not on. But we're on YouTube. You can go to dirtbiketest.com, and there's the archive is there. So iTunes, SoundCloud, all different kinds of places you can find this incredible, awesome information about dirt bike and dirt bike related products. And Chris Parker says, I have a Jimmy Lewis translation app. It says that interesting when the mouth of jail means bullshit. Really? How does that work? That needs further explanation. I say interesting when I'm calling somebody on bullshit. Did I do that?
That's what he implies.
I don't know. I don't know if that's a troll or
no.
One of your buddies.
It's both. Yeah, it's both. But didn't you walk up today and I said, interesting? I didn't do that to you.
No.
You said something and then I said interesting. No, no. I think that's what he's getting. I don't know. I overanalyze that.
So before we move on, I wanted to talk a little bit about the Ducati Desert Sled. A friend of mine, longtime Baja rider and explorer down there, rode KTMs, Hondas through the 80s, 90s. Now he's in his 60s, and he went out and bought himself a Ducati Scrambler Desert Sled. And he is loving it. So he let me borrow it for a couple weeks, and I got to do a couple adventures on it. And that bike is shockingly fun. And it had I have to compare the travel notes, but I actually thought it handled really well on fire roads, especially over there in Panamint. We went and saw the goldfish, So that's a weird one because I actually was a hater, Jimmy, and I was going to be
of scramblers.
Yeah, and I was like,
because it's a little retro,
right?
And there's a few other brands that make those, like BMW has.
Who was the first one that made the actual scrambler in the day? Do you know? Or
oh boy, I don't know if I'm that old. I mean, I'm just getting into adventure bikes, so.
And was it because they put out this nostalgia of
Scrambler? Who? I mean, Ducati had a 350 Scrambler back in the day, a single, and I remember seeing those things kind of roll through as vintage bikes at Cycle World magazine. There was Triumph had some bike. I mean, they're sort of like they were modeled off of the desert sleds that guys were stripping down their street bikes and then taking out in the desert. And this is before this is before the 2-stroke came, like bikes like Greaves and early Husqvarnas, and it was Harley Davidson had a 2-stroke bike back then. So there's a lot of the Scrambler because now Triumph has a kind of a retro looking Scrambler bike. Ducati has one, BMW has one. So it's a thing, and they're all, I mean, I'm just checking to see how tight your pants are right now. See,
Well, in my video, I said,
if you had a mustache like this, it'd kind of fit in, and then you'd probably be wearing one of those dome helmets with that big old bubble. The bubble thing. Did you wear that in your video that you did?
No, but what I said was I said, if the BMWs are for the doctors and lawyers and the XR 650s are for the cowboys and the renegades, then the Ducatis are for the entrepreneurs and the rock stars. That's how I ended my video. There you go, right? I mean, it's I should have said hipsters.
How did that thing sound? I mean, I've always loved the way the Ducatis sound.
Man, it actually sounded really cool.
Is it a dry clutch?
No.
No, not a dry clutch. Yeah.
But again, it was like a crotch rocket on the streets, even with its knobbies. I think it had Scorpion. Can't think of the model tire, but it was more fun on road. But getting to the off road was probably the best part of it. And then once you got off road, it was okay. But jetting up and around Panamint, doing 70 around corners and stuff, and then the sound was that Ducati rumble that everybody likes. But again, I actually was going into it kind of like, I don't know if this is going to work for Baja, but he takes it. He stays mainly on roads, but then takes occasional fire road, and they provide a nice pannier system where you can put your bags on and carry stuff. And so
when it comes down to it, it's essentially, I mean, it's an adventure bike that's styled a little bit different. I mean, if you could take that same thing and dress it up with a big gas tank and a fairing, and the performance would probably be pretty similar. Especially because Ducati makes that multistrada that's like. It's one of the most ridiculously technologically advanced, like ridiculous horsepower, and it's got all kinds of buttons and it had all kinds of technology. It was maybe a few years ahead of its time. It just wasn't. When I rode it, I'm like, man, this thing has got a motor in it that can make tons of power, but it's a little bit muted by all the traction controls and different things like that. Had the smaller wheel sizes, so that kind of plays into how the bike handles, and you could tell that the guys. It's kind of like Triumph, it's like these guys make really good street bikes, Ducati and Triumph, and it's like, hey, we're going to make an adventure bike, and their street bias, like really, holds them back from a dirt bike side of perspective. But a street bike rider going onto those bikes onto the off road, they're never going to complain because they're used to be in a more tighter rider cockpit, and kind of more sitting down. Some of the stuff we complain about with the KTM 390, and that wasn't a fault of. Sort of KTM not knowing how a dirt bike worked, that was sort of more of a fault of where this platform was derived from and how many changes they could make to get it to where it was. So, Logan, you ready to come over here and read some questions? Think so?
Sure.
Got it? Okay. Come on in. We'll bring Logan up to help read some questions. That'll give me more time to stay hydrated. I'm looking at the questions and stuff like that. BSA. Christian Parker says BSA. Yeah, BSA used to make some scramblers. They're no longer around. You know what a BSA is, Logan? Wait, I'm going to check you. Give me how you doing?
I do not know what a BSA is.
You don't know what a BSA is. It's a bike that's probably as old as your dad. Is that good? So we're starting right there. For V Lee.
What is the top speed on the KTM 390, and can you easily cruise at 70 miles per hour or 120 kilometers per hour?
How fast did you get it going, Mark?
I think I got it up to 80 with no headwind. I'm 190, 195 with gear.
Yeah. Hey, while we're at it, go get my tracker. Like literally, go get it out.
No. I put it in your garage.
Good.
Yeah, I took it out
because I was watching on my track with my tracking app.
Did you write this for me later?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I'm going to go riding tomorrow, and I need to have that thing on me, or I could get lost and nobody could find the body.
I actually left it up in the mountains.
Yeah. Well, because I was looking at it, and I never saw speed over 17 miles an hour. No, just kidding. I saw.
No, you're probably right. I just threw 80 miles per hour. I'm guessing because
No, I mean coming down that gravel road, you could hit a buck on that going down.
Yeah, I was a little nervous with that though.
Hey Logan, how fast did you get it going?
Didn't ride it.
Right, that's got to feel pretty bad.
The 390?
The 3.5. How fast did you get going, Janie?
93.
90. Woohoo! 93.
On downhill.
Downhill, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the facts that I have is I got it going 103 miles an hour on the dry lake bed with a tailwind. I'm doing my best memory here. In turning around into that headwind, I got it going 93. So it was 103 into the wind with back and forth. You can easily go 70 miles an hour on the road. You're spinning the motor a little bit. It's running up at probably 7,000 or 8,000 RPM. I'm guessing. I don't remember the exact, but you're spinning it a little bit more than like on a 790. You're cruising at 70 miles an hour at 5,000 RPM, and then on a 1090 you're at 3,000 RPM going 70 miles an hour. So it's just a factor of how much. The bike will go that fast, but I didn't find it, and we'll have a question about vibration. I didn't find it too buzzy or too much vibration.
No, it was nice.
And then the tires that we put on it do amplify the vibration a little bit. Did you notice vibration?
A little bit, not a whole lot.
Yeah. I mean, and you're coming from a Harley that has a certain kind of vibration, but it's a smooth, big rubber mounted motor and stuff like that. It's a different thing. Okay, next question.
WSL. Sounds like it would be a good bike for me who has been riding dirt bikes for years and just wants to go slow, sit down, and be okay on the freeways to get home.
Yep. And it's funny because you say go slow, and I think you just mean ride at a relaxed pace. As people get all wrapped up in slow and and it's like it's a great cruiser. I mean, it's
It's a Rincon bike.
Here's the thing.
Just go reconnaissance.
So your Harley's a cruiser, right? That's what it's called. It's called a cruiser. This is a cruiser for the dirt. It's not meant to go fast. It's meant to just go at an enjoyable speed. So then when we start talking about the suspension, and I think it has really good suspension. I would like to go bounce it through the exact same set of bumps as I did a 250L. And
I'm not saying it's bad. I just felt I actually felt it was good, but just it ended real quick. Like it just went through the stroke.
Did you feel it clank?
No,
it did.
No.
No. So
No.
you're not bottoming it yet.
No.
So where the Honda, you would feel it clank.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Good. Okay. We're on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
Next.
Wolf Keck. Yeah. This guy really knows what he's talking about, and it's great to listen to somebody with confidence enough in their knowledge to
Mark,
speak
you can reach
naturally,
over Logan and pat me on the back right now. It's okay.
naturally in depth about the bike at hand. This is just a great test and review video. No nonsense and
That sounds like it needs
Good
to go up
stuff.
into Instagram stories. Screenshot those.
just straight bike talk. Outstanding.
That was the whole thing? He didn't ask a question?
No.
I just put that in there to pad my ego up a little bit?
Yep.
Oh, jeez, Jimmy. Okay, next.
Mikhail Johnson.
Don't you like reading those things that say nice things about me, Logan?
Yeah.
You didn't laugh like that one guy when you started laughing at the guy that told me I didn't know anything about sound. So I have to put those back in just to build myself back up.
You have a pronounce every word like Baja ha. Like B-A-J-A-J. the last J isn't silent by any means. If you ignore it and call it just Baja, it becomes a slang in native Indian language where Baja ha motors located, which means infertile person.
Okay, I learn way too much things, and I mean, You know, it's amazing. This video is actually, a lot of people are watching in India because, like I said, that bike is a high performance bike, and it's an awesome sought after bike in India. I'm stoked that we got that kind of traffic. I actually, because of that, I started watching some of the reviewers, some of the Indian motorcycle media, some of the reviewers on how they, did the bike, just to try to understand it a little bit more. But none of them said Baja.
Raja Baja.
None of them said it, because I was actually kind of hoping that Baja. I think somebody's got to, I'll have to listen. I was hoping somebody would have said the name, but they never talked about who built the bike. They just kind of gave the facts and figures. So Baja, I guess, means an infertile person. So, Mark, you do infertile person diaries?
Yeah, I've never heard that before. I've heard Raja before in India.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Raja Baja?
No. Yeah. So
Infertile people diaries.
So you're not big in India. Your Baja diary story.
No, but I am getting a following in Russia, though.
Russia.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question, Logan.
Travis Donald Stanley. But I really disagree that this is an entry-level adventure bike. I think these moto journalists are getting this wrong. Many of the WeStorm, KLR, and
that's a V-Strom. I think he's talking about. He did call it WeStorm, but that's a V-Strom, and that's a Suzuki adventure bike.
Mm-hmm.
And
KLR and DR riders
will come here and have a bike ready to race. I mean, tour. Growth penalty. Adventure riders are looking to go on an amazing trip, not grow as riders. They are already over 60 years old. JK.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I'm not 60.
I'm not 60. He's slamming on us. That Travis? No. Hey, no, he does make a really good point. It's, sometimes, I hate to say this, but sometimes bikes that are entry level become really good bikes for our seasoned riders, our older guys. And I know this firsthand because one of my best friends, Crazy Nate, who used to race, he's a former District 37 #1 motocross guy. He's won the Greenhorn Enduro and stuff. And I watched him evolve into getting onto, he was riding race bikes all the time. He had, he used to ride double with his wife up the gnarliest trails on a YZ 490. Like that's like the pinnacle of I'm going to do gnarly stuff on the craziest bikes. He's slowly, as he's seasoned himself over years and years of abuse riding those bikes, has worked himself back down to a CRF 230 that's lowered, that's spray painted black, because he doesn't care about what his stuff looks like. And I got to ask you about your helmet, by the way. Remind me when we start getting to it. But
you were kind of offended by my helmet.
No, I wasn't.
Watching me, I was looking at your eyes right.
No, I was interested. I was very interested by your helmet. No, it was. But anyways, so a lot of times when we say entry level, I mean, that's really the target they're going after, because like the manufacturers aren't looking for somebody who's on their last motorcycle. They want somebody who's going to buy 4 or 5 more. And so, yeah, I guess by calling it entry level, you as a seasoned rider who deserve to be treated better and respected more, trust me, I'll take the first lashing for doing this. These bikes fit you. They're just fine. They offer plenty of performance. You realize that you don't need all this horsepower to go have a great time. You realize you don't need this high-tech suspension to go out and have a great time and tour. And so, yes, you are absolutely correct, and I stand corrected, but I'm still going to try to talk to the entry-level rider, because I would hope that they can learn something and grow and kind of come along with us, as opposed to you guys that are all going to, not be. You don't need to listen to my crap. You've heard it from all of us kids before. So.
And I think too, mainly because I did some beginner rider videos, I find that people that haven't been around motorcycles most of their lives will see this 390 and they will be attached to that. Where guys like us, we've been around a long time. it would make less sense, you know. But say a girl who graduated high school, she's going to college, and she wants a bike to go to college on and maybe ride with her friends, and she knows nothing. Her dad never took her. Sitting on a 390, putting her feet on the ground, like you've said, that'll connect with her.
Yeah.
You know,
and then hopefully that leads to her, wanting to ride other, and KTM would hope it's KTM products. I don't know. I don't know with the younger generation. Logan, how important is brand loyalty?
I don't think it's that important for my generation.
Right. So you hopped off you were on your YZ85. Now you're team KTM.
You mean you don't like Honda because of Ken Roxon, or
but you still have a YZ250, and then you're riding your sister's Honda. Yeah, you don't care about brands. You just care that it starts up and it runs, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I was. What about? Okay. So who's your favorite racer? Any kind of racer, any place, any racing.
You better say Johnny Campbell.
No, don't. No, I want to know your honest answer.
I don't know.
You don't. Oh, waffle. That was a waffle. Waffle. Matt. Okay. Who's your favorite racer? Jason Anderson. Okay. And you ride a Husaberg, which is almost a Husky.
Yes, it's a blue Husky.
It's a blue Husky. Okay, so it's just drawing some lines, some symmetry here. Next question.
Doug Black. This is literally the best review of this bike I've seen yet. I really appreciate it, as I'm looking for a beginner street bike for my son.
Oh, wait, is your son 60 years old? No.
This proves my point.
No.
This is a great
that's the thing. And so Doug, it depends on what kind of riding you guys are going to do. If you're going to do adventure riding, this is a great bike. If you're going to go dirt bike riding, there's better choices. And it's like anything. This is not a very good quote dirt bike. It's a great adventure bike. It's sometimes it's hard when, Doug may be a very experienced rider and he kind of knows and understands, the different segments and stuff. And then he's got it right. But I've seen other people that maybe they bought their first dirt bike and it just happens to be a BMW 1200 and they actually call it a dirt bike. And I'm like, ooh, because they don't want to be riding one of those little 650s. And all of a sudden that number on the side panel, and I think I point this out sometimes, like that number on the side panel, that's not your biggest concern. Because I know BMW makes a 650. That's actually an 800.
Really?
Oh, yeah. They sneak it in there. But they just lowered the crap out of it. And all of a sudden people flock to it because it's a 650. Because they had a very, very successful 650 single cylinder they weren't going to sell anymore. And they had this really nice 800 motor that, well, it's like, we'll just call it a 650. Huh. And I think they actually made one that was a 700cc displacement for some, for some regulations on licensing in other countries and stuff. But yeah, you could get a BMW 650 that was an 800. Like I feel like you're getting ripped off with a 390. I mean, because it's only a 372. Did you ever think about that? Where do those 12 or something cc's go? How did they get 390 on this? Aliens took them. That's right. Gabe's up there floating around with 12 mystery CCs of KTM. Okay, next question, Logan.
Dan Coleman. Hi, Jimmy. I got to say that is one of the best and most thorough reviews of any motorcycle that I've ever seen on YouTube, period. The KTM 390 Adventure had already captured my attention, but after seeing this excellent review, I feel like it's almost a done deal. I will at least drive the 200 miles to my nearest stocking dealer to get a hands-on look at it, and it is very likely I will bring one home with me.
Do you get commission for that sale, Jimmy?
I wanted to have
you need
some.
To send that to KTM.
I will. I probably will. I don't know. I wanted to have some breaking news, but I don't have that. Keep going, Logan.
Thank you so much for doing such an awesome job reviewing this bike. I only wish more videos on YouTube were as valuable and informative as this one. Sadly, so many of them are nothing more than a big waste of time. Very well done. Thanks.
Oh, yeah.
I could pat you on the back for that one.
Yeah. So I think that I just the self gratification is over. Let's just kind of keep moving down the thing here.
Enduroist. Great review. Thanks.
Oh, not another one. No.
Almost this entire pages, except for Travis.
Yeah. Okay, keep going.
If KTM offers an Adventure R version of the 390, I'll go for that. 390 is all I need for my travels and touring. Less weight is more important for me than more power.
Well, Enduroist, I'm going to say don't get your hopes up, because I think them making, quote, like an R version, at least in the short term, isn't in the cards. But if I had a crystal ball, and sometimes maybe I do, but I would actually think that the next evolution of this bike, when they do some big upgrades to it, and it's brand new. In fact, it's like a lot of the questions I've been getting are when's it going to be in the dealers? And my word on the street is in about 30 days. They're hoping about 30 days they can get it in the dealers. But I would suspect that just because we found so many things that are just real easy to correct, but not real easy to correct. So in other words, I think that the next evolution of this bike, maybe in 2 or 3 years, would actually have its own dedicated frame, so it'd be a little bit more set up for, off-road riding. It would be modeled more off of, what the 790 and the 1090 are, as opposed to being, something that's derived from a world market bike. I think they could do a lot with that motor. And I mean a lot. Not only in, just electronically, I think that motor, just like all motors, you're so able to tune them, just with the ignition mapping and fuel mapping, and to make them act differently. And I don't know if you notice this, Mark, but we talk about this in the video. It's like when you turn the throttle, you turn it really fast, and as a dirt bike rider, you go, oh, this motor feels lazy. But if you're up at like 5,000 or 6,000, 7,000 RPMs and you turn it fast, it's like you're going, wow, it responds.
It's got bite around that range.
And if that motor responds up there, it will respond down low. But it's fly-by-wire, so it's not like a cable where you're actually, it's 1-to-1 on the butterfly valve. Mm-hmm. And I say butterflies all the time in the butterflies valves, or butterfly valves, I say in the video. It's only one, I know that. But actually, nobody beat me up for that. They should. The internet is supposed to just crush you for that. For making a mistake.
Facebook warriors.
Yeah.
So what is it exactly?
So you turn the throttle, and the computer turns it the right amount to set it into a nice place. It says, hey, he turned the throttle, or she turned the throttle this far. That means they want more power. Okay, I'm going to give them more power, and if they keep turning, I'm going to give it a little bit more, and eventually it catches up. But if you just whack it wide open, you don't get whacked wide open. It goes, and then,
Oh, really?
It's thinking. It's there's something in there, and it's I think they did a really good job for, like I said, for the intended market. I think that if they could, just like with the 790, there's like a rally mode. I think it's, I think you buy an upgrade to it in the computer. Maybe George can tell me, because I know he bought every upgrade for that bike that's sitting in my shop right now. But you have rally mode, and then all of a sudden you get literally like 1-to-1 throttle response, really snappy, aggressive throttle response, which, that's what we all think we want. But in reality, it's just, it depends on where you're at, what you're trying to get done. So, okay, next one.
Numa says, what a great review. Please do the same test with the 790 Adventure R behind you.
Throwing that right back to George. George, they want me to do a review of your bike. That's not KTM's bike. That's one of my coaches for the school's bike that he got quarantined in California. He left a lot of equipment out here, and I'm making sure that it still runs. It still works. We did take it out and run it back to back with the 790, and they're two absolutely 100% completely different bikes. They share a same visual, look between them, but the 790 is designed for an experienced rider, someone that wants high level performance, someone that wants to ride, a lot. They want to take their adventuring in at a lot faster, more aggressive pace. Not to say that you can't go slow on it, but it's just designed to go.
How aggressive
faster.
can you take that 790 as far as technical trails?
It's kind of ridiculous. I mean, so the way I described it, it's not a very comfortable adventure bike, but for me, when I'm riding it, let's just say if we're on a novice level single track trail, just a regular single track trail, and I was just going to go ride it at my comfort level, just where not ever pushing it, I end up going the same speed as I would on my KTM 500, and I'm not kidding. And it blew me away. I mean, at the 790, you're just happy there. You don't want to push it anymore. You don't feel safe pushing because all of a sudden, whatever that weighs, I don't know off the top of my head, that 400 pounds does not slow down like a 300 pound 500. So that's where the problems arise. But like it's the way the suspension works, the dynamics of the chassis, how it handles, it's pretty crazy. And, I'm not going to take it on gnarly single track trails, intermediate and expert level single track trails. But, when you're riding it, and then when you start going down like, 2-track roads where, all of a sudden we're a 500, you're kind of like going, I wish there was a little bit more. I wish there was a little bit more. You do not have that problem on a 790. And you can ride it with a little more fury than you can a 1090 or a 1290 because it's lighter and more agile and all the, for all the same reasons. But we would love to do more reviews. Who is the question asker? Numa de. How come you didn't say that? Did you say that name?
No.
No? Numa de l'Elegance. See, I can speak the French, I guess. That's French. We'd love to do more reviews on other bikes, but we're limited. Staff, people, things like that. So we're trying to turn that corner, but Logan hardly wants to ride. I mean, I text him, hey, come and test this bike, but he's like, I got to go to school. Gabe gets abducted by aliens. Trevor's in California. He's like afraid to come to Nevada.
I saw Trevor this weekend by accident in the middle of the desert.
Oh yeah, that's what happens to weird people that ride out in the middle of the desert.
I was out there and I saw this van go by, and the friend I was with, he's like, "Oh, that's Trevor. He practices out here. He's a racer." Well, what? So I go right over there, and there he is. He's like, it was just funny.
Yeah,
we tested the Husky and the KTM at Glen Helen that time.
Right.
So,
okay, next question.
NJNN.
I think I'm gonna guess just with my, I'm not very good at this, but that's an Indian name.
Yep.
Vinjay Anand. Okay.
You're going to be a superstar in India.
Yeah.
Stupendous video. Technicalities, weight distribution. Flaws, fantastic. Tons better than the ones simply ridden on tarmac, and the spec sheet repeated in a stylish manner. That
was an excellent observation that he made there. Because I mean, if you want to make a YouTube video, all you have to do is, you take the bike for 10 minutes, you ride it around on the tarmac or wherever you do, and then you repeat the specs. Because that's the information that everybody wants to know, which, by the way, you can go to www.ktm.com.
Right.
And they have a spec sheet there that has all that information on it. And hopefully, they'll tell you exactly how it's going to work, how the I love this part of it. They say that the frame is inspired by the 450 rally bike on that KTM 390.
Don't get me started.
Don't get you started.
Don't get me started.
They say that. Oh no, I mean, hey, you
Husqvarna has they like to do that too.
Well, So it's a trellis frame. So in that it's kind of the same, but I don't think that it's inspired. Well, I don't.
What about the wording when they go, this is based off years of multi-championship off-road racing technology, where they get racing and they get the bike and then you ride it and then there's no racing inspiration at all in it.
There's marketing.
The marketing company's way over here across the street.
Well, no,
from
the good thing is the person that wrote that copy, it actually has a job doing it, unlike the internet reviewer that's doing it hoping that they'll invite him to the next interview or the next writing impression, or send him a free sticker or stuff like that. So yeah, okay, thanks. I'm going big in India. I'm actually I'm really impressed with if this bike is built in India. I'm pretty impressed with the quality. I mean, it's kind of it's changing. I mean, a lot of these countries is emerging. They're doing a lot of production because the labor costs over there are cheap. Sometimes the materials costs are cheaper in these places, but it's getting better. It is definitely it's no different than Japan was when they first started up after, when Honda early started up and Yamaha started up with the motorcycles after World War. Like those ones, you look at them and it wasn't the same kind of qualities you were getting from other countries. And now look where they are. Yeah. And same thing with the Taiwanese stuff. And you look at the mountain bike stuff that comes out of Taiwan. It's crazy how good that stuff is, and there's no reason that those factories couldn't produce motorcycles to that quality as well. And this KTM, you look at it, and okay, so the fastener, you look at the 8mm bolts, and this has 12mm. I found 12, 14, and 15, and all different size Allens on it. They need to unify the tool requirement. There is a tool pack on the bike, and I haven't pulled it out. It's on there. I need to pull it out to see how many different size wrenches they put inside it. But you look at the surfacing on the bolts, and it's just not that. KTM's always has those nice ones that are 8s and Torx.
So what sizes did you see? 12?
I saw 8. I don't know if I saw any 10s. I saw 8. I saw 12. I saw no 13s. I saw 14 and 15, I believe, in different things I checked and torqued and tightened up. So... okay, where are we at, Logan?
Frank Cohn. That was an amazing review. Very interested in how the bike holds up over time.
And Frank, so are we. So I found out today that KTM has agreed to let us keep our hands on it, because usually they like to take these things back. But they said we can do a little bit more long-terming, so that's why Bermcannon over here is gonna take it and do a Bermcannon diaries, because we don't want to do any infidelity diaries.
I'm gonna go back to my old school and do Brody's on the lawn.
No, you're not on that bike. So we're gonna do some more long-term testing. We're gonna do a couple modifications and upgrades. On our list is the first thing we want to do is try to level the foot pegs out, just because that for a dirt bike guy is something that we think is standing up. It makes standing up riding a little bit better. So we're going to work on the rider kind of cockpit feeling.
What did you, again, from your video, go over that again? What did you feel in what it needs?
So the foot pegs are kind of angled forward, and they're not flat. When we ride mostly dirt bikes, our foot pegs are flat, front to back, and these are angled forward. And a few people hopped on it and they just didn't feel comfortable. And we didn't really analyze it that much. We didn't notice why, and I noticed the same thing. And because they're, we want to put our feet on the foot peg, so you feel. But if you put it flat in the foot peg, it angles you forward. It puts weight forward and puts weight on the handlebars, so it makes it hard to stand up. And then it makes it feel like the bars are low, and they're not. They're not low. It's just you're all of a sudden you're canted forward. So we kind of picked out in this, and it's not a super simple fix. It's not like it can't just be tilted or something. So we're looking at some aftermarket options for that. Our second thing is probably going to be getting some, wire wheels, regular spokes on that. I've had somebody reach out to me and talk to us about putting an 18-21 combination on it. So more dirt friendly size. Because those are right now 16 or 17, 19, I believe are the sizes. I actually would like to just go to some spoke 17, 19s, because I think the bike works fine. But there is the option to change the tire sizes. So we'll do some of that stuff. Maybe search for a little bit more power, a little bit more throttle response, see what kind of stuff happens. And Janie says,
the pegs are tilted forward, which makes it a lot more comfortable if you're sitting.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So and And she
Good
points,
point.
and we talk about that. We say this. It's a really good sitting down riding style position. If you're sitting, and it's funny because I have to force myself to sit down when I ride that bike because it's just so much more comfortable. And a lot of times when you're adventure riding, you're just sitting down, just getting your miles in. So it's not that bad, but we're looking at say, hey, because what we did complain, we did call it an entry level or a I don't want to call it beginner, but entry level adventure bike. But let's say you buy this and you start wanting a little more performance. And these are the things that are going to kind of hinder it a little bit from kind of growing with you. So you don't have to sell it and buy another bike. So we're going to say, hey, is there a way to modify this thing and see where it goes? And that's our plans for longer term. And then we can also learn about engine durability, which I don't. I know that I'd heard some things that the early 390 Dukes and the RC 390s had some issues with some stuff, but like anytime you build an all new engine, all new platform, and it's been 2 or 3 years, 4 years that this engine's been around, that's all sorted. They've got it figured out.
DG is saying call Lance at XC Gear and get him working on those pegs. In fact, I will see him next week and show him your video.
I'm ready. Foot pegs, send them. I heard the angle, it needs to be 15 degrees. I didn't put the measurement device. What do they call that? Is it what would you use? What device would you use to figure out the angle, Logan? Did you try to go riding that day too? Like
what day?
The day they taught you the thing you put on there, it shows the angle. Protractor?
Oh,
what was that called?
Yeah, protractor.
Protractor, yeah. I went riding that day. I didn't learn it. Matt, what'd you do that day?
I actually learned how to use a protractor.
You learned how to use a protractor.
Yeah.
You're the smartest person in the room now. That's just blowing me away. Astrophysics and everything. Okay, next question.
Uncle Voodoo.
Uh-oh.
I think KTM should have laid off the electronics and just made this bike bulletproof instead.
Uncle Voodoo. I think that I don't really, I mean, coming from a dirt bike background where we have none electronics and stuff like that, I viscerally, I agree with you. But I don't think that the electronics are that, quote, undurable these days. I think that there's a lot of other stuff that'll probably fail, quote, before the electronics. You think about how electronically, connected your car and all this other stuff is, and all these miles we put on stuff that are, it's like this thing here, this phone. Like, geez, how, like these things are incredible for the torture we put through them. So I wouldn't worry about the electronics all that much. There's so much that the electronics have to accomplish on these motorcycles, and there's benefits and there's some stuff that, I wish I could hack. I'd like to change some stuff, but I think overall, I don't think the electronics are going to make anything less bulletproof at all.
I'd like to see KTM be the first ones to start doing a warranty like cars, where they offer you, $1,200, and then, it's like a car. You just take it in and they change the oil for you.
Oh, like a owner care package or something.
Yeah. I mean, because they're leading the pack right now, and it'd be cool to buy a $14,000 bike, and then the thing's under warranty or with certain miles, and then you take it in for your oil change, just like a.
I think I know on anything that's on road there is some kind of a warranty, and this is getting out of my sphere. Like competition bikes are sold some kind of 30-day. On defects, your bike,
right.
You would have to break for some strange reason that wasn't because, you did it. Cartwheeling over the triple jump does not count as a manufacturer defect. But I think there's something that they have, they have these kind of warranties. We probably, you probably go to the website and check that kind of stuff out. I don't know. And it's different country to country and what's kind of required. I know the emissions components have to last a long time, a certain amount of time. So, yep. Okay, what's the next one?
Zach Williams. Excellent review. I have a Versys X300 and the KTM 390. is very intriguing for a light adventure tour. I really appreciate the discussing the factory setup, not being comfortable for standing. The X300 actually has very good ergonomics for standing. I sold a Honda CB500X because the peg position was similar shared with the street models on the same platform and was difficult to stand on. I do think KTM has packed great value into this bike. I'm interested to see how the pegs could be improved and possibility of a wire wheel version.
Yeah, so I think Zach and I are on the same page. I actually have not ridden a Versys 300, and I was talking to one of the guys at Honda today if I had ridden a CB500X, and I've ridden an older one. There's a newer, updated one, and so now the gears are turning, and just like, hey, you guys should test this, and you guys should test that. It's all time. it's all time, and doing a good test, not just riding it down the tarmac and then coding off the specs for making another internet video. So we're working on things, and we'll see where that goes. It's funny because when I saw the 390, I thought of the Versys. I really did, and so I have a funny thing about that you might see pretty soon. So, what does Ricky say?
Great review.
No. What's Ricky's last name first? You got to say that out loud.
Zekahara.
Is there a C or is that a B? Zekahara. Yeah. There's an H at the end.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Go.
Great review, Jimmy. I'm curious with your thoughts. What your thoughts would be if you considered the bike from a different perspective. I will the Asian versus American perspective as opposed to the beginner versus advanced perspective. As an American working in Malaysia, Iraq, and Syria, I found in general there is far more commuting on motorcycles. Riding off-road is often not a hobby, but the best or only way between point A and B. Incomes are typically lower, but the same bike costs more, resulting in one motorcycle is often the equivalent to someone's commuter to work, vehicle for trip, and toy for playing with on the weekends. So, in that context, an American would consider the 690 Enduro a relatively reliable, trouble-free motorcycle, but it's a nightmare for anyone who depends on it for daily work and it is expecting to do a commute 6 days a week for at least 3 years and paid off.
Okay, I'm gonna kind of cut you there because I gotta process all that. That's a very, very good question. That's not such an American centric view of this bike, and it's something that you got to understand. We called this in the video. We call this a world bike. This is KTM needs to sell a lot of these. They want to sell a lot of these. That's why they've priced it that way. And when you just know a little bit about economics, which I don't know much. Matt, you need to chime in because you probably had to take an economics class in the last couple of years. So yeah. So when I jack this up, just start flapping your arms around and say, Jimmy, shut up. Right. So the idea is if you can sell more of them, you can sell them at a lower price because your small profits over a lot of these will become a big profit in the end. That's the idea. KTM's not giving these away. That's not their job. They're trying to make some money. You got to understand this. And by having this platform that's going all over the world and sold in larger quantities at a lower price, they can sell a lot of them and make money. And then they're looking at it as sort of like, hey, we're getting people on our brand. So there's even some, I don't want to call it loss leader because they're never going to sell anything for a loss, but they're just really attracting to people there. Because in other countries, like he points out, they're not off-road riders. their roads are off road, so they want a bike that
And those
performs.
roads are beat.
Some of them.
beat.
Yeah, I've ridden in other countries where we didn't ride on the road. We rode off the side of the road because the side of the road was better. It was at least consistently dirt. It wasn't just massive potholes that would bend rims and break stuff. So that's kind of that's an interesting point that they look at this thing and like we're looking at it, it's like, oh, the little 390, oh, this little tiny bike. We're used to riding 1200s and 1290s and 1090s and this, and in other countries, like getting something more than a 50 or a 150, it's like he rides the 390. It's a whole different class and level of bike, and then it's just the economics of stuff like that really kind of pays off in the long run. So I think that when you start looking at that, the duty cycle of this bike, like what it has to accomplish and stuff, pretty good. Our bike is spec'd a little bit different. I don't know because I haven't ridden the quote world version or whatever they have in Australia and whatever they have in Europe and whatever they have in India. It's a little bit different. Like I heard India, and I think we have a question about it. They have non-adjustable suspension. So they're doing other things that are cost-cutting measures on the bike to get it more affordable in that market. Because if it was whatever the conversion ratio at $6,000 was, that could be someone's yearly income. It's like you don't think about that over here. So it has to do a lot of different things. Our bike gets crash bars. I think that's one of the big changes that you see. And the U.S. bike also is tuned specifically for the market in the United States, and whether that's more a derivative of having to meet our emissions and sound requirements, or it's just they found they could make it run to a certain character. That's who knows. That's something that they discuss internally, but I think that it's definitely this bike has to meet a lot of needs all over the world. So what's the next section of it?
Since Baja is making...
Yeah, Logan. Right on.
making this, I was kind of hoping this might be a bike like a KLX 250 that you can put 20,000 miles on a year for several years and change the oil every 10,000 miles or so, as that is what the tens of thousands of Asians want and expect. Any thoughts on how it might do in the long run?
Well, you know what we were supposed to do today, Mark?
Yeah. Instagram just kicked us off. We've been on for an hour on there.
Okay. Well, it's just like, what a waste of time. No. What did I say we should do? Change the oil. Because we're at 1,000.
Oh, I thought you changed it.
No, I didn't change. So we're working on that thing, So it probably has its. It probably got running its 100 or 150 miles. It was 100 miles, a little over 100 miles when KTM handed it to us. I'm sure they changed the oil in it once, which was more. So it's kind of been serviced, and I wanted to change the oil because the service thing still on? Did it ever say service on you?
I didn't see it on.
I don't know if I was able to turn that off or not, but there's a thing on the computer that said service, and we probably should service it now. But that is true. I mean, they expect to get thousands of miles on their bikes in between service intervals, and I should just give it to Torture Test Gabe, Torture Test Magazine Gabe, not our Gabe. Well, Gabe can torture things too, but and let him see how long he tries to kill the bikes by not changing the oil and stuff that you would ordinarily do. I think that they probably tested the motor to do that kind of stuff, or they, if they wouldn't put it in a bike that was expected to run and perform in these markets, and not knowing that that these guys are going to run their bikes for that long between oil changes and stuff. So I think it's probably a little bit more durable than we maybe give it credit for. But we're over here, we're used to changing our oil every 6,000 miles or something on bikes 10,000. I haven't seen the owner's manual on it, so I can't really comment on that. But I don't think I don't think the oil changes are going to be that outrageous. I would say just run it.
Peter Sendit says one of the best reviews I've seen this far on this bike. At that price point, compared to the current competition, it's a home run for KTM. It should be noted to everyone that at KTM's official press release, they started that spoke wheel will be an OEM aftermarket option. Of course, this is not currently standard, so figure that into your total cost when wanting the upgrade. Quick shifter is also not standard.
Yeah, so Peter actually, I think he was the first one that pointed out to us that the quick shifter was not standard. That was something that they kind of added. And it's literally, they plug in the computer at the KTM shop and they push a button and you get quick shifting. It's just it's a feature that's built in, and that's like, on cars these days and stuff, you can buy like a low line car, and if you know the right person, or you can go to the dealer and pay for an upgrade package. Just they plug it in, they go, dude, like that, and all of a sudden all these new features pop up on your dashboard. It's sitting in there. It's features that they have, and that's what the quick shift is. And what do we think about quick shift, Mark?
Well, I mean, it's
bog.
Again, I've only had a couple hours on it, so I'm going to really put it to the test here.
Yeah, no. It's funny because for us, I mean, we're all used to using the clutch and doing what we do with our wrist and shifting like we normally do, so it's not that big of a deal. I'll tell you, when you start getting used to it, when you all of a sudden expect it, don't hop back on your KTM 350 and pull a quick shift. Your KTM 790 has quick shift. Don't hop on your 1090 and go, okay, quick shift. It may or may not work, and I don't think your transmission is going to be that happy with you after you get used to quick shift. I think that the spoke wheels will be an OEM aftermarket option. I'm pretty sure you'll see it in the aftermarket before you see it on KTM Power Parts, but I'm pretty sure they're thinking about it. They if they've done any market research at all, they will realize that a lot of these companies, they're when you buy these kind of bikes, you want to modify them and you want to grow with them and stuff like that. Like, there's crazy how many parts are sold for Honda CRF 250Ls. Like, it's crazy. I've seen I know some people that make parts for those, and it's like, how do you make that many parts for a motorcycle? It probably
stamping them out in their machine
shouldn't be modified that much, but people are buying them. So I think this is on the same boat. Is it past your bedtime, Logan? No, because George says we should run the show to 2 hours. And he says he's stuck at home, which he is, and I agree with him. And I just like it that every comment starts out with one of the best reviews I've ever seen, one of the best, if not the best review. Keep going. Let's go.
Adati the Joy D.
You want me to try that one? Adija Dewey Jode. Yeah, that's it. Oh, Mark gets a shot.
Yeah, Dewey Jody.
Yeah.
Please tell me which tires you've fitted on that machine.
Kenda Big Blocks. Those are the tires. I put Kendas on that particular bike because I wanted a more aggressive off-road tire so we could ride in the dunes and stuff, because I got really pissed off with the stock tires because I couldn't make it up this road past sand hill that I sent it on a few times, and all I had to do was change the tires and I rode right over it effortlessly. So tires do make a big difference because that's what's connecting you to the ground.
An ant. Paddy. One of the best, if not the best review of the Adventure 390 on YouTube. Would love to hear your take on the Tiger 90 Rally Pro and AT 1100 Adventure Sport. Subscribed.
There's your triumph.
Yeah. You think so?
Yeah. Let's call him up.
Yeah. Well, it's you want to be our what do we call those bikes? I mean, the Tiger 900 Rally is Triumph's way to go after the more aggressive off-road market to fit into that KTM 790, 1090. Husky's going to have their 901 coming out. That's a market, that's a zone. They have an engine and they have a platform. They have an adventure type bike, and I have not had a chance.
What's the AT? Is that the Triumph
Africa Twin?
Okay.
And so adventure sports, and the funny thing is and I learned this because I always have to learn things. So the Africa Twin Adventure Sports is the more touring bike. The standard one in Honda's world is designed to be more of the off-road version. So we're hoping the new Africa Twin, the intro has been postponed because of all the virus stuff. We're hoping to get one of those pretty soon, and we are going to get the standard because they know, hey, dirt bike test is what you. But that doesn't mean that we're not going to try to. I want to try standard transmissions versus DCT because we always get criticized for liking DCT so much. And then we're also going to go adventure sports versus standard version, so we can speak to how they work. It's not just I'm not just going to ride it on the tarmac and then quote the specs. So that's for the other companies that are going to give away some bikes or something like that if they subscribe to their channel. What's next, Logan?
John Fetcher.
That sounds like a good old American name, huh?
62-year-old stepping away from serious dirt biking, wanted to trailer to location, ride a BDR, and ride back to trailer.
So BDR is backcountry discovery route.
I love lighter bikes, however, want some room being 6'2". Of course, bike choices.
Is his current favorite?
Yeah, the DR 650.
You know which one that is? What's a DR 650?
The Suzuki.
Yeah, just learning.
Waiting for Kawasaki to come out with something also. Want 400 pounds. This looks like a great choice. Last bike was a XCF 350W. DR 650 versus 390.
Man, I at 6'2", you're going to be pretty tight on that bike.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I think you'd be happy with the way the motor ran. I think the chassis, especially if you're coming off a DR 650, it's funny because DR 650 is like I would call it the low rider of the 650-esque bike. So if you compare that to like the KTM 690 and the Honda 650L, those are tall.
Yep.
The DR 650 is lower and easier to ride. It out of all those bikes, it was always my favorite. I liked it. Had the suspension was always pretty good. Motor was just torque.
They don't make those anymore?
I think they still do.
Really?
Yeah, I think they still do. If they put a big tank on it like Kawasaki did with the KLR, it would destroy the KLR.
Really?
The brakes actually work, pretty good. The chassis doesn't flex all over the place. So the DR 650 is a really good bike, and I don't know that I think that going to the KTM 390 would be a little bit of a step backwards in a lot of performance areas. You'd get a little bit more technology, with all the dashboards and the fancy kind of features like that. But
can I just say something?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm
that's
sure
that's why you're here.
Okay, I'm sure people are going to hate me for saying this, but let's spice up the show a little bit.
Oh.
So, coming from the background, that I come from, I always looked at DRs, DRZs, KLRs as S10 pickups of motorcycles.
Okay.
They're kind of like junkyard bikes.
Uh-huh.
So I just want to say that.
Oh, I was gonna literally
Because guys that were riding those when I was like 17 are still riding those.
Oh yeah.
And they don't feed our economy of the industry. So I know they're good bikes. I know they're very proven, but I'm just being a smart ass. Just spice up the
No,
show.
I know you did. I was going to bet that you were going to try to throw XR 650 into that and say how the XR 650 would just dominate, not the L, but the R.
No, the XR 650 is more of a upper class white trash bike. You know?
Yeah, no, yeah, I don't even know.
I'm just spicing the show up.
You have to go. You have to go watch Mark's Baja Diaries, and you have to find the one where he talks about the how the XR 650 dominates over the KTM 690, and I tell you what, if there were two good 650 cc-esque motors, single cylinder motors, those are actually pretty good. But I had a Husaberg 650. A while back, and this is back in Dirt Rider days. We had a long-term bike, and I mean I talk about my 570 a lot, right, Logan?
Yeah.
Like the Husaberg 650, and I have guys that'll agree with me, and I haven't paid them or anything, that will tell you that motor is by far and away, it just dominates over any of the bikes that we just talked about, because it makes so much power. Like there's hill climbs that aren't even hill climbs. They're downhills that people dare to go down. And the Husaberg 650, it not only rode up them, like, you ride up uphill and you're just pinned, your tape, there's nothing left. On this bike, you could actually let the throttle back off and come back on and it would still accelerate.
Really?
Do you know how much horsepower that is? That's a lot.
Was this like 70 horsepower on that bike?
Oh, the dyno, I don't care about the numbers in the dyno. I just tell you about, like, when it re-accelerates up a like nice long sand hill, that's when you know a bike has a lot of power. So why were we talking about those other bikes? Because we should talk about Husabergs. I'm going to ride one tomorrow, I think. I'm going to go. I got a little ride planned. It's not, the traction really isn't worthy of taking the Husaberg out, but there's some hills I want to climb. And
take care
off.
of those hills.
We couldn't have a show without that, right, Logan?
No.
Okay. Are we getting close? How many more pages are on this sheet? Are we in trouble? Oh, good. We're getting close.
Builder Bob 26. Awesome review. I'm a brand new rider at 47 years old, and this bike would definitely make me confident getting into adventure riding at such a late age. At my age, I'm not looking to take chances like I would have when I was 20, and though I was indestructible.
Absolutely. A perfect bike for him. Yeah.
That's it. That's the answer.
Yeah. And he can take chances because he's saying that and I know how because everybody says that at their age, but they say that, but then they get on the road and they see a little path going off to the right. Where does that go?
That's the awesome part about having an adventure bike. Is you're not limited to the road. Like Janie really wants to ride her Harley off road, and she says every once in a while she does it, but not by choice. Right? Yeah. Okay.
Guy Walkabouts.
That sounds Australian, eh?
Yeah, mate.
How about vibrations? Heard in another video that engine gives off a lot of vibrations off-road. That's not a problem, but on-road you feel them more.
What was that other video, like the most awesome review you've ever seen on the internet?
Or was the video where the guy's riding down an Iraqi road?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, the vibrations from the road. Characteristically and typically, we do not, because we come from a dirt bike background, we are not big. I just like to preface this: we're not big on the vibration thing because we don't notice it as much. Like you do not really feel, unless a bike really vibrates, like 2-stroke 500 vibration off road. You just don't feel it. Yeah, you just do not feel it. But I didn't really notice. I mean, yeah, there's times when you could tell it was a little bit buzzy. But I didn't notice it from switching from the stock tires, and so I probably have 150 miles on pavement with the stock tires and 150 miles with the big blocks on it right now, and I didn't notice a big change in any vibration feel. And usually, when you go from that more round tire onto the more knobby tire, you pick some of that stuff up. So I don't think the bike really, in my world, vibrates at all. It's not an issue. And, some of these guys need to harden the, up a little bit.
I found there was absolutely no vibration at all. I mean, it was really just nice, smooth.
Yeah, didn't have a problem with it. You know what? George is telling me I need to pull the plug after 2 hours, but I think it's too late. 7, 8, 9. No, we're getting close. 7:07. What? So pull the plug after 2 hours. Have a couple more pulls off of whatever you're drinking, and log back on with a live rant. Like, I have nothing. I'm in a very mellow state right now. I'm good. I was a little stressed at the beginning because for the aliens that abducted Gabe, that increased my job around here.
He also says that he wants strong language, violence, and some nudity.
Strong language, violence, and whoa. Yeah, wrong show, George. Yeah, like I mean,
I pushed it by calling the DR junkyard bikes. That's a little, as far as we go.
Yeah, you waited till you signed off your Instagram account so you could protect it.
It's on his people.
You only want to piss off my side of the world here, and like you want to go a little bit crooked. So
I'll have you on next week, and then you can go off on my crowd.
Okay, I did that, but I offered good, solid advice. I was a very nice guest. Hey, so if you're interested in like learning, if you're a more novice rider and you've tripped over this show and you've lasted this long, which you can check out Mark's. It's hard to find your podcasts.
It's on all three platforms: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Which iHeartRadio is the largest podcast platform.
Oh, I need to get on that then.
Yeah, and it's simply called Bermcannon Adventure.
Right.
And we're just talking about all different things, riding, trips, life. I had a surf health coach on a couple weeks ago. I had Jimmy on, all talking about guys like us getting in shape, living good, eating good, riding good, finding the right bikes, and then all the tech questions go to Dirt Bike Test. I send everybody to Dirt Bike Test because I'm a stupid idiot and I just like to twist the throttle.
You have good input. I mean, everybody. I always say everybody has an opinion. Everybody has a feeling for something. And it depends on like how much experience that comes, the background it comes with. And some people you don't care. Most people don't really care, but they like to know, like get a feel for it. Just become a little more educated, especially when it becomes a problem, like that feeling you have. It's like I don't feel comfortable on this, or this isn't working out for me, and hopefully we can, point them, steer them, give them a little bit of sage advice. And it's like, I love the. Actually, ask me the question. I'm gonna write a question. You start reading this. I'm gonna write a question down that I want you to ask me. Go next.
I do want to also add that in the last month, based on my following, there's a lot more people getting interested in riding. Last time I was out here, which was 8 months ago, we were kind of talking like, wow, like it's kind of. Me and Jimmy have weathered these storms in our industry where we've seen people get out of riding, where it grows, it shrinks, it grows again. Now it seems like it's shrinking. But on my end, I'm finding a lot more people like in these questions where, hey, I'm 30, I'm 40, I've always wanted to get a motorcycle. What can I do? Point me in the right direction. And that's really good to see for the industry and in general. For people to buy a motorcycle and use a motorcycle to go see new places. Yeah,
and that age group specifically, they may have had some mini bike experience. They may have been like Logan, where Logan's dad's going to kick him out of the house in 3 weeks, take all of his bikes, and then you're going to have to go start peeling roofing off the side of the house, and you're going to work all day long, no time to ride, and you're just going to get in this rut. Out here, it's likely to have 3 kids by the time you're 22, and then you don't have any money for dirt bikes. But when you get 40 and those kids are now out of the house because you've kicked them out of the house because they were smarting off to you, just like you did to your dad, although you don't talk, so that's kind of hard to smart off, but you probably sent him a bad text, whatever. So now you're 42 and you're in the same position. It's like, man, I used to really like riding dirt bikes, and that was pretty cool. And I
used to like to race them, but racing's more expensive than a $15,000 adventure bike.
Yeah, Logan likes racing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's expensive. You better be nice to your dad. Smarting off. I know he prep his mountain bikes. You should prep my mountain bikes. I got some bikes you could race too. So, anyways, is that enough of a rant for you, George? Just by the way, did I just go on a rant or tell you some like sage advice? Okay, well, back to the questions. Couple more.
My guess, the real kick in my pants is this is a $4,000 bike motorcycle as it's produced and sold in India with import and dealer markup. We are at over $6,000. That's enough extra cash to buy a second motorcycle in India and give one to your friend to go riding with you.
I didn't follow that a little bit.
So Mike's saying that it's a $4,000 bike that they mark up to $6,000, but if you can get it for $4,000, you have enough extra cash, or even if you get it at $6,000, you have enough extra cash to buy a friend and take them riding with you. So not really sure about buying friends, as I think that's what he's alluding to here. Maybe that's something you do in your country, Mike S. It's also an American name. No, where do you? I'm not really sure. I don't approve of buying friends. Just like I don't approve of buying internet followers or whatever else is around there. But yeah, I have a lot of bikes, and I don't have that many friends to go riding with. So what does that say about me? Next question.
Pratham.
Oh, that's a good one.
Chayuhan. Pratham Chayuhan.
Hi, Mr. Jimmy.
That's spelled with an I, by the way.
Yeah, no why. I'm from India. I'm also owned KTM Adventure 390, but I'm starting phase KTM Lunch.
Each word one at a time because I know it's hard. This one is.
That's lounge.
Just remember, can you speak Indian?
No.
Hindu? No? Well, he speaks English or enough to communicate. So he's smarter than you and me and Mark. Keep trying.
Start phase KTM. Oh, launch.
Yeah, I'm starting I don't know what that means, but keep going. Yeah, good. Just each word.
Non-adjustable suspension. Can you make one special video for only suspension adjustments for all setup and review? What is the difference between adjustable and non-adjustable?
You know what that tells me, Jimmy? This guy's riding rough roads and he needs help.
Yeah, he's from India. He says so. So India, I don't think has the most quality road system in the world. I would just guess. I have not. That's one place I've not been. So Pratham, I appreciate you writing in and doing this. And Logan really struggled with that because if you could try to read this, you can go read the comments and you can see how he wrote it. There's extra periods in there. There's some numbers in there. Words phase. So we don't know what that means. Maybe it was speak to text because my speak to text always come out looking like that. So he's asking about the suspension. I think he's saying that his KTM 390 has non-adjustable suspension, and that he knows that ours do. And I did respond back to them because I think if the bike came the way it was for the intended market with the suspension and the stock clicker position, and you just cut them off, you can't touch them, I would be pretty happy. I think it does a really good job. And I think for that market, for that level of rider who doesn't really know a lot about that stuff, it doesn't make a whole lot of difference. And if you never touched them and you didn't have the opportunity to touch them, kind of like on the Honda, it's one of those things is like, yeah, I can modify it and I do this. And I think the KTM having it is more of like, hey, it's like them saying, hey, look at these extra features that we have that you don't get on the other bikes. It's like we have adjustable suspension. The adjustments do work. They do make a difference and you can tune and adjust it. But how do you actually go about doing that? And so what he's asking is, can we make another video that talks about, how we adjusted it and stuff? And here's where I all of a sudden like take issue with that is I don't know how you ride.
Right.
They're adjustable so that bike not only fits like what they consider to be everybody, it fits everybody and you too, because you can now add a little bit of compression or take some rebound out or, click or two a spring preload, which is one thing I really want to do. I haven't done on the bike yet because I didn't feel the need, but I want to add some spring preload because I always like them when they ride a little bit higher because they get a little bit plusher.
Right.
So there's a lot of stuff to do. I think it would be better if we did a video that explained what those knobs do.
Yeah.
And say this does this, and here's kind of the range. It works in this range because sometimes the knobs they click 22 times, and only 10 of those clicks really quote does anything.
I find it a lot of people find suspension settings like rocket science. They really don't know where to start. There's tons of videos on how to set sag and stuff, but again, like you said, there's a lot of videos that aren't good. So maybe do a video on, explaining what those clickers do and how they can better set up their KTM in India.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that there'll be kits, available with the, you could switch out the cartridges because the external components are probably going to be largely the same. Mm. And I would have to ride or see one of those bikes to comment specifically. And their standard setup may be completely different than what our quote standard setup is. I mean, they could set it up because they know it's going to be ridden with, a woman and a small child on the back because their bike also has there's a thing where you can put a cage over the rear wheel so your dress doesn't get caught in it, which isn't really a concern for me or Mark, but Logan, when he gets a little bit older, because transitioning, is interesting these days. And so if that becomes a concern, I can probably hook you up with somebody in India that can send you over that cage so your dress doesn't get caught in the spokes. Or when you have your 2 or 3 children in the next few months and you can't afford a real car and you have to have your whole family riding around in your motorcycle to get to the Quickie Mart in Pahrump, that's the way things work. So always thinking about those things. Are we done with questions, Logan?
Yeah.
You did a good job tonight. Those are some tough ones.
Is this the longest tech talk ever?
I think we might be going on that, but it's in lockdown and people have nothing else to do. So
true.
I mean, I just torture them with this stuff. Some people say this is America. We can do whatever we want.
That's right.
Hey,
let's talk about that. Liberties.
Hey, we're no politics.
Oh,
on this
sorry.
show. You drug me into politics on the other podcast that I do with you.
I tried to get you triggered, but you stayed calm.
Yeah,
you stayed calm.
No, I'm trying to be safe here. I want to thank everybody for joining us. I want to thank all the people that help us out, especially Climb, Good Gear, DDC Racing, Delaney Driving Components. If you need a sprocket, go check those things out. You got to check out Bermcannon stuff. If you're watching this show, you are bored on the internet right now. He's got some pretty cool stuff. He has a very relaxing voice too. Sometimes some of his things, if you're looking for something to really kind of taper the mood down, your dream of adventure bikes, you might slip right into a dream of doing a really awesome adventure bike ride in the places he's gone. I want to thank Mark for coming out. And
you're welcome.
And he like I said, when you have free dirt bikes to offer, then you get friends and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
But Logan, you're not fazed at all by the dirt bikes. I'm like, hey, let's go ride. And you're like, maybe, thanks, sort of. So, but mountain bikes, we're game on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of mountain bike do you got?
Cannondale.
Oh,
yeah.
Fancy.
Yeah. So,
okay.
I just want everybody to know, just in case anybody is curious, I did kick Logan's ass on the mountain bike on the last climb.
He did.
But going downhill, I have a lot to work on.
You got a downhill bike, cross country, or all mountain?
Enduro, which is pretty close to an all mountain.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys got mountain bike trails out here?
Oh, really good. Yeah, really good.
Okay, wait. I didn't ask you that, Jimmy, because I know what's good for you, which is like gnarly rock shale.
No. I'm a novice. I'm literally a novice mountain bike rider. Yeah.
Are the trails smooth and nice, or
they're little rocky? No.
Okay.
Maintained like engineered. Like the trails out here are so we have two groups of engineers. We have there's in Vegas. They have an incredible group of trail enthusiasts that go out and really work on and develop and design. I am blown away by the trails. I mean,
Really?
and I build motorcycle trails, so I know they do a good job, and they do a good job of keeping some of them really secret, and some of it's really good. Out here, we have a crew of wild horses that do an incredible job of kicking every rock out and they're perfect for single speeds,
Wow.
like single speed mountain bike trails, because the horses and donkeys are lazy, and they drag their feet.
The hoof,
And-
they just
and
kick them out of the way?
They kick them out of the way.
Really?
They follow the contour of the earth. They do not like walking up and down. And so they make these awesome trails. So we've got some actually pretty fun stuff. And it's funny because they're a little too twisty and turny for motorcycles, but you can ride a motorcycle on them. But I don't, because I feel like, hey, this is a mountain bike trail, and I want to kind of keep it like that and not tear it up. And
Logan, do you like the trails around here or in Vegas?
Both.
Both?
yeah,
Yeah.
they're different. Yeah, but it's good. It depends on what kind of workout you want. But if it's uphill, I'm gonna crush you until you give me a heart attack. But if it's downhill, I'm never going any faster downhill. I'm bad at that.
Logan, when you get your dad, you guys should go do the Downeyville Classic in Northern California. It's a 2-hour downhill mountain bike race.
I didn't turn my phone
It's-
off. George is
it's
trying
pretty
to call
awesome.
me on my phone.
Yeah, he just messaged me.
Oh, what's he want me to
Yeah,
shut up?
you don't climb. You just,
He wants you to stretch
Oh,
your legs.
right over the hill.
Yeah.
yeah.
I can't believe I didn't turn my phone off. That's like the first thing. So, anyways, this show is kind of wrapping up. We're running out of energy here.
It's like George Norrie. Let's keep going till 4.
Well, we did talk about aliens, and we are in Pahrump. And that would be Art Bell is what you're really going after here. That is literally not too far down the street here. This is where really good radio is produced here in Pahrump, the Valley of the Dirt People.
Huh.
It's for late night
Is
listening.
it that way over that mountain range?
Where? Oh well, you didn't make it to where I told you to ride today.
No, I got scared.
Yeah.
He says Area 51's over that mountain range. I got
It's
close.
true. Yeah. I told him, I said, when you sit up on the top of the hill, it's really simple. You sit up on the top of the hill, and if you look out to the north, that's aliens. And if you turn around and you look back to the south, that's prostitutes. So I was sitting up there with this really famous motorcycle racer named Daniel Laporte, and he looked both ways, and he said, I believe in prostitutes. So, hey everybody, with that, we're gonna sign off on this one. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for keeping the crowd for such a long show. Maybe we'll stretch this show out for 2 hours if we have good questions and stuff, and we can pick a topic. I know we have some interesting stuff coming up, bikes to test. So we will. What are we gonna do, Logan? What are we gonna do?
See you out on the trail.
See you out on the trail. Cheers, everybody. We talk a lot about Recluse clutches on this show, and Recluse is famous for their auto clutch, even though they make lots of different clutch-related components. Specific to the auto clutch, it's a drop-in part that basically does all of the work that you would be doing with your fingers internally inside the motor. It doesn't shift the gears for you, it just operates the clutch pretty much to a perfect level. It's very adjustable. There's lots of different setup options, and you can get that clutch to work however you like. You can get it so you never have to touch the lever. There's some setups where you can still use it like a normal clutch, but the bike just won't stall anymore. So Recluse is responsible for getting these podcasts uploaded. They're supporting this show so you can learn about stuff. And if you want to learn about Recluse, you can go to www.recluse.com. Again, that's REKLUSE, www.recluse.com.